Again, I'm going to place a picture of my portrait in there. Oh, there's Trump. We can do Trump if you want. Where'd she go? Oh, there she is. Okay, again, the photo quality is a little, the dots aren't very good, you can see. But we can get some colors going there. The hand is going to be difficult there. Maybe we just go without doing the hand. Whoosh! Don't be afraid of hands. You guys are afraid of hands in your drawing class too, aren't you? You ever take a drawing class? You always try to draw a body without any hands on them, right? Okay, so let me lock that, and I'll start with new layer, and then we can use our eyedropper to suck up some colors, and so let me make a little palette with the colors from her face, and so that when I'm doing the gradient mesh, we can work with it. Kind of same techniques that we used with the fruit. Where? Oh, jeez. Right? Can we go away? Go away. There we go. So we can select the color from her face, drag it in there, come on, drag it in there, select the color, drag it in there, select the color, drag it in there, select the color, drag it in there. She's got this nice skin tone here. Look at these bushy eyebrows too. She's got these really bushy eyebrows. Bushy eyebrows. Oh, and there's her father back there. We'll get some colors out of her lips. We were in the mountains in Colombia when I took this photo. Christmas time. New Year's. This is actually New Year's Eve. Day I took this. Okay, so I got some colors. Again, how I'm going to work is I'm going to do gradient mesh of her whole face. Just one big outline. Now we can always hide them and add more objects over top, and that's what I'll talk about. But I'm going to go all the way around. Now when I'm going around, don't worry about certain areas maybe. What you want to do is try and use the least amount of dots you can, almost like when we were doing the fruit, because when you start adding meshes, it adds more points, right? So the less points you add, the less complex your main shape will be. So again, I'm going to use the pen tool. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Again, what I'm going to do is we're going to go all the way around her face using the pen tool, and then add some colors using the gradient mesh. So I'm not really going to worry too much about this part up where her hair is, because the hair is going to go over top of this shape anyways. So you notice how I kind of just, I didn't go along her hairline there, because I'm going to cover her hair up. This is more important down here where the edge of her skin is right here. So I'm going to go along the edge there, go down here, and of course you don't have to go exact, kind of right here, and go here, and then go back. Okay, so we have her main face. I'm going to move it out of the way so I can see things as I'm going along here. I'm going to move it out of the way, and then maybe move it back. Just a look. Okay, so there's a lot going on there. A lot going on. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this actually. How about that? Let me duplicate that for a moment. Just put it off to the side. Hide it. Okay, I'm going to hide that one in case I need to go back. Right? If you make a second object and everything goes crazy on you, without having to go back in time, I can just delete it and put a new object in and put the old object in. So I like to do that sometimes. Okay, so here's how we can do the mesh part. Again, when I'm doing the mesh, I like to start with a medium tone, you know, not too dark, not too light, because I can add highlights and add shadows. Of course, she has a really dark kind of eyes around this area here. And then she has forehead. She's a bright area here. I'm going to kind of start with the bright and then dark and then maybe dark here. I'm going to try and get this part first up here. So again, how I'm going to do that is use my gradient mesh. I'm going to click kind of where her eyebrow would be. And if you want, you can use the eyedropper and suck up that color there. Then I can click, whenever I'm using the gradient mesh, again, probably one of the better ways to use it is to click along a line so that you do not have to add so much. And that's going to be more of a darker color. Don't stress out yet. Don't stress out yet. And then I'm going to go again. She has kind of a dark there. And then we'll do some light up here. We could click. It's kind of warm. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's a good start. Okay, so we have some colors. Again, one of the things you can do is you can move your mesh around so we can get our eye socket kind of shape going here. Kind of close together there. And then this is down a little bit here. I'm going to go with more of that kind of tone. And then she has a brightness over here. You can add another mesh right there and add the brighter color there. And then just kind of a cheek down here. And that's a little bit darker there. Kind of has this kind of color down there. And then this is going to be tough right there. Let's see if we can get it. Curve action. Remember, there's arms that you could use to adjust your gradient mesh. So that looks pretty good there. And then she has a really dark area here. We can move this up a little bit maybe for her chin. This is a little brighter here. So let's put a brighter color there. There we go. But then there's this really kind of dark area there. Let me use the eyedropper here. Where's the eyedropper? Eyedropper. I remember we were using the keyboard commands last class. I can't remember the keyboard commands all the time. There we go. But then she has a bright area on her cheek. So that's right there. Whoosh. Maybe a little bit too bright. Move this up for the eye socket. Rotate that a little bit. Move this over. Maybe make that a little darker. No. This needs to be a little smaller. Okay, but what you're trying to do as far as that, it kind of get base colors. Again, you can always put other objects over top of them. So let's see. Did I do a good job of placing things properly? Somewhat. We can always go, and if you want to see how your shapes look, you can go to the transparency option, and you can turn down the transparency so you can see where your dots kind of overlap. Okay, again, I'm changing the transparency of the entire object, not just there, so I can see, and now I can move my dots around. So I got, kind of a general placement of where maybe some of the mesh dots will be. I put the object back over top, I turn the transparency down, and then I can move the dots around a little bit and get them more closer to the features that I'm looking for. You see how I did that? Again, it's under transparency. So now we can maybe get a little bit better feel of where, oh, you got to use the white one, this one, the direct selection. That helps you move points around. So of course this is kind of messed up here. Oh, maybe you need to click off first. Let me get a little, oh, now I'm doing the wrong thing. Let me move this up just a little bit. It's a little off. It needs to go right about, oops. If you're having problems placing things right, again, you can always use your arrow keys on the keyboard to give you a little bit better. There we go. Okay. Turn the transparency down. Use your direct selection tool. You can click off and then on a point. We're going to move this over a little bit. This one I'm going to kind of put in there. Of course, this is in the wrong spot. I want to move that over there. This one a little bit down. This goes in the dark socket there. This I'm going to move down. This is going to move a little bit down. This goes down. This goes over a little bit there. This is kind of nice. I'd like that. Maybe a highlight up there. No, that's not going to work. We're going to move that down there. These can actually maybe be moved in here and even darkened even more. This is kind of a highlight on her cheek. Move that over there. This is kind of that dark spot, wasn't it? Was this the dark spot I was doing? I think that was. That was there. And then maybe move this over here. And then, okay, that's a little bit better there. Okay, so again, added the transparency a little bit, allowed me to see where I might want to move the dots around. I'd like this to be, I need this to be kind of dark right there where her cheek would, or her bone would be. Maybe darker. And then this, there. Okay, let's turn the transparency up. Again, select the entire object, and then turn the transparency up. Okay, so it might be a little closer now. I know it looks like a blob, but we're going to put other objects over top of them, just like you saw in the samples, and try and get them to match. So what might be another object? Of course, the nose. If you noticed the nose in the sample that we were looking at before, you know, it's really hard to get a nose to kind of fit on there without looking like it's glued on there. So we'll try some techniques. One of them, of course, is to make sure the colors are similar and then the edges are maybe a little soft. So we'll talk about softening. Not necessarily blurring, but you can also do something called feathering. And I'm going to show you how to do a little feathering. Feathering kind of the same feather that you have inside of Photoshop, right? You might have used feather before in Photoshop. Okay, they do have a feathering here. So I'm going to go and I'm going to turn the transparency down again, and I'm going to lock this. Oops, I need to select it first. Oops, I locked it before I turned the transparency down. So select it. Where's my transparency? Oh. It's underneath here. So I'm going to turn my transparency down. Not all the way. A little bit, just so I can see, and then lock it. We don't want to. It's a good base. Okay, so now I'm going to do kind of the nose, which is probably a great challenge. It's a really good challenge. Again, using the pen tool. Here we go. I want it to kind of blend into the color that I have right here. So I'm going to go all the way up to here to start my object, right? And then I'm going to go down, kind of along her nose shape. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we get that. I'm going to go down along her nose. Don't worry about some parts. We're going to do a separate object for like her nose part here. Just get the shape kind of right. And then I'm going to kind of go in and around. And then I'm going to go across. Now, it looks crazy. I know it does, but be patient. Be patient. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a mesh to this, the first mesh. I'm going to go and kind of put it right in the middle, right there, right in the middle. See how it kind of the angle of the object kind of comes down to. Next, I'm going to go back to my object and I'm going to turn it back up. Oops, I got to select it. Turn that back up. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to try and get these colors to match. There's a problem there. Let me bring that in a little bit there. Okay, so how do I get the colors to match? Again, I'm going to select the colors at the very top up here. You can actually select more than one at a time by using the Shift key. Shift key. Then I'm going to use my eyedropper, and I'm going to select the same color. Okay, so if I zoom in, you'll see what happened. Again, I selected all three of the points up there, and I use my eyedropper to select the color that's there. In doing so, you can kind of get it to blend. It kind of looks like it's glued on there, but it's at least better. Another way you can go about making it even fit better is to even use a transparency. You can actually use a transparency by selecting the dot itself. Just the dot. Where's my dot? There we go. And I believe we can give it a transparency. Yeah. So we can, the dot itself can have a transparency. So not only is it similar to the color behind it, but it's also now, if it's transparency, it's blending with the background. So that's a good way to, even get them to be closer. Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to click on the color that's behind it. Where's my eyedropper? Eyedropper. There it is. Again, selecting the color that's next to it. Again, selecting another point, clicking on the color that's next to it. Oh, this one's not changing. Why is it not changing? Maybe this is the one I need to select, this one right here. There we go. Okay. Let's see. This one. There we go. And so on, I'm going to go, and of course this one we want a nice bright color. It's a little bit too bright, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. And then eyedropper. Just to get a base, you might want to just go through and give yourself, that one's not going to change. That one's not going to change. This one will change though. Eyedropper. Where's my eyedropper? There it is. There we go. And then one of these. And that one. Eyedropper. There we go. Okay, it looks like it's glued on there, doesn't it? Oh. It's not too bad. It's a good start. I mean, this is something that takes a long time to get to work. So to make it so it even looks like it fits even better, again, there's two options I would do, either blur or feather. The feather is nice because it doesn't blur inside the object, it only kind of softens the edge. Where if you do a blur, it blurs kind of whatever's inside and outside. The whole object is blurred. So the difference between the feather just does the edges, blur does the whole object. You can find the feather option if you select the entire object, because I want to soften all the edges, by going underneath the effects, stylize feather. Okay, it's kind of similar, like I said, to the feather inside of Photoshop. And if you hit preview, it gives you a kind of a preview, and you can even see what it does. I don't know if you noticed it when I clicked it. It kind of gave it a little bit of an edge to it. Let me turn it up. Oh, too much blur. There we go. Oh, not enough. There we go. So if I hit OK and zoom in, you'll see the edges really are soft now. Really soft. Here we can do a before and after. I'd say undo feather. See that? Redo feather. Undo feather. Can you see the difference? Mm-hmm. Redo feather. Okay, so a great way. Now, the purpose of me doing this was really to try and get that line for the nose to come down. So really, I really want this color right here to be maybe a little bit more dominant. It's a little dark. I'm going to make that a little brighter. Maybe not too much. I don't know. Okay, so let me hide these objects for a moment. Okay, so let's look at her nose for a moment. How can I get the little... So the next part is, of course, this, 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 this. All these things can be separate objects. Even here, a separate object, and we can even have it blend down there. So you can even use your pencil tool, right? The pencil tool. So here we go. Using the pencil tool, this one, like the one we were using last time. Again, I can double click on the pencil tool and change the smoothness here. Okay. So I can then just go and give myself a shape. There's one shape. We got this nice shape here. And then of course there's this big shape down here. Even goes all the way around here. Might even give it a little bit like that. Okay, and then we can change some colors. We can use the eyedropper by selecting it and choosing a color. Give me a dark color. Give me a dark color. There we go. Selecting an object. Give myself a dark color. Select an object. Give myself a dark color. Now, it looks kind of goofy, but again, we could either use the feather or the blur. Works well. So this time, let's try the blur now. I'm going to go under Effects, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And the beauty of the Gaussian blur, of course, is you can control the amount of blur. So that's a great way. There's another one. Effects. And you can, if you like that, maybe just hit Apply Gaussian Blur. Apply Gaussian Blur. This one probably needs more blur because it's a bigger object. The blur kind of works by the size of the object. So, where was I at? Blur, 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 blur. Gaussian blur. And even if it's not working for you, you can even turn the opacity down a little bit so it even blends more. But if we put the other objects back on, well, they definitely need to be darker. I'm going to go with the black. There we go. Go with the black. There we go. Go with the black. There we go. It's a start. Again, techniques I'm using, trying to get the colors to match by selecting the colors that are outside your mesh. Taking objects and blurring them so that they blend with the object underneath it. You know, this is a good start. I really think that, you know, if we put some time and effort into making the lips and the eyes nice and having those blend with the background, it would come together. I don't know. Anybody have any questions? Feathering, blurring edges, choosing colors. Yeah.
Are you gonna be able to show us how to get the hair today?
You want me to demonstrate some hair real quick before we go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll do lips and eyes next week. How about that? Lips and eyes. Let's talk about hair then. So hair is difficult to do. A lot of times I've seen people just go and make kind of like what we did last class, where we just draw some shapes and then draw another shape over top of it and another shape over top of it. That tends to work nice. One of the things about hair, especially if you're using dark hair like this, there's a lot of contrast, right? You get this bright, light color on top and it's kind of dark underneath. So, you know, there's several ways to do hair. One is, like I said, just using an object, you know, that goes around and you know, giving yourself whatever, one object, and then going over again with a little bit brighter color. And then going over that again. With another brighter color. And kind of building it up that way. It does work if you try it. You know, it keep building and building and building, almost like what we did last class. Then there's, of course, the hair, which is an art brush. Okay, so if we go in here, let's steal the good hair from the internet. If you just go to Google, it's been around for a long time. Remember the hair from that one sample I showed you, and I said, "Oh, look, that's the hair downloaded off the internet." There's somebody made this hair about 15 years ago, and it's like the #1 hair, and it's on the internet. All you have to do is go to Google and type in Adobe Illustrator hair, and it'll pop up. Here, type it in, Adobe Illustrator, and it's the best hair that's ever been made. That's probably why. It's got to be the best hair ever. It's probably this one. Let's see. No, but that's some nice hair there. There's some Trump hair there. There's some nice hair there. Kind of a tutorial on how to do hair, probably. No. I'm seeing if they have the hair to download somewhere in here. Doesn't look like it. I could go on forever here. Oh, here's the how to draw the hair. Okay, and use an art brush. See the art brush? So make yourself a sample hair and then use the art brush is how this one is. That's how I would do it too. But there's a great one that you can find. Where is that wonderful hair? I guess we have to put the word brush in there. Adobe Illustrator hair brush. Brushes, maybe. No, that's not it. Oh, I thought it would. I swear it would pop up the one I want to use. This is it right here. This is the hair. So where to download? Where is it? Where is it? That's the hair though. That was it. Oh, where did it go? No, I lost it. I did lose it. Maybe it's here. No. Oh. There, this is it. That's it right there, that one. This is the one I want. But I need the brush. I don't need it. I don't need a picture of it. I want the brush. Maybe on the website. I know I've downloaded it. I'm sure I have it somewhere. There it is. Go away. It's going to be a virus, isn't it? No.
I think the demo button's to the right.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we'll cross our fingers. Hopefully this is not a virus. Cross our fingers. Hopefully this is not a virus. Okay, so if you find this one, thank you for finding that. This is very good hair. If you find that one that looks like that. Oh, did I not download it? It downloads as an Illustrator file, an AI file. An AI file can be used as a brush. So here's how you would use it. If you find this one, this is the one I like to use. You use it by opening the file up, actually copying it, and then placing it in your object. Here she is. Okay, so place it in. You can place it outside your artboard area. There it is. Okay, so you open up. If you find hair like this, you download it off the internet, put it into your file. The best is to open and copy and paste it in, right? Just like I did. I opened it. It's usually an Illustrator file. Copy and paste. Then what you want to do is you can use the white or direct selection tool and draw over top of the objects. And this object is a brush. So it should show up as a paintbrush right here. Look at it right here. It's in the brush option up here at the top. See it as a brush option? So it should recognize it as a brush, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's up here. And if you use your paintbrush option, it'll kind of follow along. No matter how far you drag it, it'll kind of follow along. So it's very nice hair. Now, of course, it's probably not the color you want. So how can I alter it? So if you find this brush and you want to alter it, the best thing to do is you select it and you go to Expand Appearance under Object Expand Appearance. That will then take that brush and split it up, and you'll then be able to select each individual strand and color it. Again, it's under Object Expand Appearance. Again, it turns it into kind of like you see it there. Each one of those is an individual strand of, it's basically a stroke. So you would have to then go use your white selection tool and grab each one and change the color. Actually, it doesn't look like a stroke, it looks like it's a fill. Yeah, it's a fill of some kind. And you can see, you can go, now you can go and select multiple ones using the Shift key. So if you want a darker hair, go with the darker thing. There's a lot of, you can see them all, there's a lot of strands in there. Okay, you get the idea. So after you've changed it, you have to turn it back into a brush, because right now I don't think it sees it as a brush anymore. No, it sees it kind of like as a new object because you expanded appearance. And if you want to draw your own, again, you can draw your own hair. This is one way of going about it. Just, oops, you don't have to use, you can use strokes if you want, I believe. No? Yeah. You can use strokes. Whatever. Let's duplicate that. Change some colors. Oof, not fill, I want stroke. No fill. No fill, I want a stroke. Whoosh. It's killing me here. Whatever. Ah, whatever. Okay. So let's say you spent the time making your own. Again, this one that I downloaded off the internet is very good. So how do we turn these into brushes? Again, you select all the objects that are in there. You go to the brushes window under brushes. Brushes, 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 brushes. And when I copied and pasted, it automatically put them in the brushes window for me. But if I want to make my new one, I drag it in. And it asks me what kind of brush I want. You're going to be using art brush. When you choose OK, it's going to ask you what direction you want. Yes, I want it to be like this. You don't want it to be like this unless you want to do eyebrows. That works kind of cool with eyebrows. You want it to be like that so that it follows the stroke of the art brush. So there's a new one right there. And of course this is one I just quickly made right there. Again, grab the objects, drag them in there, art brush, and follow along. Then again, how do you use it? Again, it's a brush. So if I am doing hair over here on this fine lady here, I could use the brush right here. And as you follow along, it'll follow along. See that? Follow along. It follows along. So you can do little swirly kind of things, again, going all the way up. I want to try my dark one here. Oh, that doesn't work very well. Mine, the one I made, didn't work very well. I need to spend more time making it. But this one maybe would work well. This is the one I chose, right? Let me delete these for a moment. This is the one I made, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then brush, 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 brush. There it is. Let me zoom in. Again, you can go and it'll follow along. So this is probably a good way to go as far as hair. And you can just keep building it up. And keep building it up. Just like your hairdresser does, right? Takes them a while to cut your hair. Well, me, they do in like less than a minute, but for you, it takes a little while. So you kind of build up your hair. Again, I will save this and I will try and show you how to do lips and eyes. And then we can do more hair next week. I just wanted to give you a quick way that I do hair. Again, if we turn off the image here. Oh, there we go. You see, it's not a bad start. It was a good start. For me, I'm proud of what I did. I usually don't do portraits this, so it's a good start, I think. So I'm going to save this. If you're using, of course, an image that you placed in, make sure that it becomes embedded, right? And if you go under paths, where's paths? Paths. You see paths? P-A-T-H, path. No, not paths. What am I looking for? Linked. Oh, I'm looking for links. Whoosh. You know, is it today Thursday or Friday or Wednesday? Wednesday. Jeez, I don't even know what day it is anymore. Embed. Oh, okay, it's already embedded. See this icon? That way the picture becomes part of the Illustrator file. You've probably all seen that. Hey, where'd that picture go? Remember to link that up is under links. Make sure it's embedded. If it says unembed, don't unembed it. Keep it embedded. Okay? Okay, any questions? Okay, find somebody that you like to draw because you're going to be looking at them for a while. Okay? And